Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Sinead Aherne. Today's top stories. The leaders of Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens have agreed a programme for government. The number of positive cases of coronavirus at University Hospital Waterford remains stable. Nursing homes across Waterford are opening to visitors today for the first time in 3 months. And in sport, the draws for the Waterford Club Championships will be made tonight. A deal has been reached to form the next government. The leaders of Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens have signed off on a programme for government in the last hour. Our political correspondent Sean Defoe reports.
After marathon talks over the weekend, the leaders of Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens met this morning to finalise a programme for government. It's now been signed off on, with Fianna Fáil leader Micheál Martin confirming the news as he left government buildings.
The programme for government does represent, as I said earlier, a new departure in terms of how we deal with key issues from housing, education, health.
He's expected to become the Taoiseach until 2022, with Leo Varadkar to take over after him.
There'll be a rotating Taoiseach. We've agreed the date for that rotation to happen. This is an agreement that, from my point of view, certainly from the point of view of the country, is going to be a good one.
There's some significant wins in the document for the Greens. They include a 7% annual reduction in carbon emissions, a 2-to-1 ratio of spending on public transport ahead of new road development, and €1 million a day to be spent on cycling and walking. Eamon Ryan said he hopes it will be approved by his party.
I hope so. I mean, there's a lot of things in it that I think if we delivered them, it would be a huge achievement.
The document's now been sent to the parliamentary parties ahead of the first meetings to debate it this evening. It will then go to the party memberships for an approval process that's expected to take around 2 weeks. Sean Defoe, Government Buildings.
Waterford's Mark O'Cosig was a member of the Greens negotiating team. He spoke to Damien Tiernan on Daisha today and says it's not just a green policy programme, though.
I wouldn't like to frame it that way, because there was 3 parties in the room, so there's a lot of things that will come across as green wins. But to be fair, housing is a great example. So there's a lot in housing about retrofit. There's a lot in housing about social and affordable homes, about public homes, about cost rental. Things that will have come from our manifesto and be recognisably green in that way, but also had the support of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael.
There were no new cases of coronavirus recorded in Waterford. The total since the outbreak began remains at 154 for the past week. The number of positive cases at University Hospital Waterford remains stable. There was just 1 confirmed case on site as of 8 o'clock last night. A further 4 patients were awaiting the results of testing. The government says it hasn't ruled out making face masks mandatory, but enforcing it would be difficult. A new information campaign's been launched today, encouraging people to cover their faces in situation where social distancing is difficult. Kim Buckley reports.
From today, radio ads are being rolled out advising people how, where and when to wear face masks. These will be followed by TV and outdoor ads. The government's encouraging people to wear face coverings where social distancing is difficult, such as on public transport or in shops. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar says they haven't ruled out making it mandatory.
We have given consideration to making it mandatory. We don't rule that out, but there are real difficulties with that. Some people have phobias, for example. Some people have breathing difficulties. There's lots of different reasons as to why you wouldn't make it mandatory.
Health Minister Simon Harris says it will require behavioural change.
It's going to require us getting into the habit of getting our face covering, getting our little bag, sticking the face covering in a bag, in your pocket and bringing it with you, just like you stick your mobile phone or your keys or your wallet.
Anne Graham from the National Transport Authority says they won't be stopping people from using public transport if they don't have a face mask.
You still can board public transport. There's nothing to prevent you from boarding. But what we would like you to do, and what we'd encourage you to do, to respect your other customers by wearing a face covering.
Recent studies have indicated that masks are highly effective in stopping the spread of COVID-19 from person to person.
Nursing homes across Waterford are opening to visitors today for the first time in 3 months. Shopping centres are also reopening, including City Square Waterford, Shaw's department stores and the Dungarvan Shopping Centre, under the government's plans to lift restrictions. They're reminding customers to follow social distancing and extra hygiene measures. Jerry O'Connor is the manager of Dungarvan Shopping Centre.
We're up to 26 out of our 31 stores will be opening today. It's on a phase basis. We've staggered time. Some are opening at 9:30, some at 10:30, and we have a full queuing system and signage all over the centres. To date, it's worked very well for the 8 stores we had open throughout the crisis.
Waterford's barbers are preparing for reopening ahead of schedule at the end of the month, but haircuts could take up to half an hour. Currently, the sector is set to reopen for business in Phase 4, July 20th, which is now the final phase of the plan. However, the government has said it's looking at allowing salons and barbers to open their doors on June 29th. But one barber estimates it'll take between 30 and 45 minutes to get through one haircut because of the need to sanitise regularly. Raf Semenovic is from Raf's Barbers.
At the moment, there's a long list of customers which can't wait to get them haircuts. We're just ready to open. We won't be sure because this is at the moment there's everybody into haircuts. There's good few DIY haircuts and they just can't wait to go back to normal barbers and get this thing fixed.
The owner of the Bearded Lady Barbers, Louise Hanlon, believes it'll be some time before they can be viable, but she says she accepts this.
Yeah, that's grand. It's fine. There's nothing we can do about it. There's no point in giving out about it. 45 minutes per cut. I think every hairdresser is going to go up by €1 or €2, but we have to do a lot of extra things. We have a lot less staff. And we actually still have to keep on our staff because they're beautiful people. We don't want to lose our staff. It's a family in here. There's 3 of us at the moment, and we have a makeup artist joining as well.
108,000 people who became unemployed as a result of the coronavirus have returned to work since the start of Phase 1. The figure represents the number of people who closed their claim for the pandemic unemployment payment. The overall weekly cost of the payment now stands at €175 million. Government official Elizabeth Canavan outlines how many people returned to work in the last week.
Today, approximately 498,700 people who were unemployed last week will receive their weekly payment of $350 under the COVID-19 pandemic unemployment payment scheme. This is a reduction of over 18,000 on the number paid last week.
Irish exports were down a third in April as the full impact of the COVID-19 lockdown impacted the Irish economy. €11.6 billion worth of goods were exported that month, down €5.4 billion on the figure in March. The value of imports also fell. They were down €735 million to €5.8 billion. It means there was a seasonally adjusted trade surplus of €5.7 billion, down 45% between March and April. A man's been arrested following the discovery of €13,000 worth of drugs in Waterford. Gardaí from the Divisional Drugs Unit in Waterford stopped a taxi on Saturday night and searched a male passenger in his 20s. They found what they believed to be cocaine with a street value of €9,000, and a follow-up search of a house recovered cocaine with a value of €4,000. 10 cows have been killed following a lightning strike in County Clare. The field they were grazing in was hit yesterday afternoon near Kilkee. The animals were found on their backs and sides after a thunderstorm in the area. Owner of the cows, Michael Murray, says it came as such a shock.
There's no trees, no nothing. It's just right over to the Atlantic there, right beside the cliff. There's no nothing around it. Right inside in the middle of a field on the thing. There's just one of them freak things like. I never ever have a cow getting killed with lightning. Never. I mean, you would hear of it maybe lightning knocked down off ESP wire and the cow walking the ESP wire or something, but you'd never hear of that like.
Yesterday, ESB crews were working to restore power to homes across the southeast following spectacular thundering and lightning storms on Saturday night and early Sunday morning. 4,400 homes and businesses across the southeast had their power knocked out by the lightning strikes.
Make the smart play with Virgin Media. Check out their smart home packages at Virgin Media George's Street, Waterford.
Sponsors of the sports news on WLR.
Starting with Gaelic games, where the draws for the Waterford Club Championships will be made tonight. Clubs will vote on a new 4 groups of 3 format, with the Senior Hurling Championship starting in August and the Senior Football Championship getting underway in September. County Chairman Sean Michael O'Regan says the club scene is the priority.
I've spoken to our managers to know the mean, and they appreciate that the club players are at this moment in time, both nationally, are coming first from all the dates that are there to make that pathway to have the clubs have availability to their club players, and there won't be a problem there. And we're working with our county managers to ensure that happens, and the clubs will get their players to play and to train and whatever. That's basically the intention.
Waterford boxer Neil Goff says consistency is key for any successful sportsperson. The search is continuing to find Waterford's greatest sporting hero. Neil Goff's one of 25 finalists compiled by a panel of experts, and you can have your say on WLORFM.com. Neil's won at every level from the age of 11 and has 12 titles, including 8 senior titles. He spoke to Damien Tiernan on Daisha today and says it's an achievement to make the list.
Sean Kelly, John Tracy, John O'Shea, and then some of our fantastic hurlers, and Dan, John Milan, Tony Bray, ground. It's just been amazing. And it's amazing. I knew a lot of them growing up. A lot of them I would have boxed, and they were playing hurling. I suppose later on, then in the 2000s when they did really well in the All Ireland series again. You followed them all the time. So no, it's amazing. I'm delighted to be on it. I'm even honoured. To be honest.
In soccer, a statement from Derry City says they don't think the FAI's proposed financial support package for League of Ireland clubs is fair. As part of talks to restart the SSE Airtricity League season, the FAI asked the 4 Premier Division clubs due to play in Europe to share €100,000 each of their UEFA prize money. Dundalk, Shamrock Rovers and Bohemians are the other 3 clubs. Derry say they're not convinced the proposed distribution is equitable and that their commitment to keeping staff and players on full salary during the pandemic isn't being properly recognised. Sports news on WLR is thanks to Virgin Media Waterford. WLR asks you to stay safe by keeping your distance. Our next bulletin is at 2.